Welcome back. We are right back into, again, a very small but mighty field of our PONCE Law Women's Professional 3,000-meter steeplechase. This is another event where, again, it's been growing over the years, Trevor. It's only started as an Olympic professional event in 2008, and since then it has grown by great strides. So you see their hips 4, 5, and 6, so leading the way right now. That is Ana Cristina Narvaez Ramirez, and she is out of Mexico now. She's had an interesting career. She's a 9:48.33 runner at her best, I should say. But she has moved on to the roads lately. She's taken on the half marathon, the marathon, really been enjoying that sort of transition. Didn't race much on the track at all over the last couple of years, but clearly back to put her name on this event as she is separated from the rest of the pack very early on. She's joined by Lindsay Morse of the USA and Natisha Fontanes, out of Puerto Rico. So those two working well together, but this is Narvaez up in the lead early on here, again, making easy work of these early barriers.
Yeah, we see this a lot in these smaller fields where the athlete goes to the front and turns it really into a time trial. Now, sometimes there's a battle there for second. We'll see how this kind of plays out as they start to take those water barriers, but she's taken a couple steps in the water, so that may add up. Pretty good from Morse and Barberena as well there in second and third. But as you said, Ramirez, you don't always see that, Kate. And back to you as a distance runner, you know, even going to the roads, obviously it's not a one-way street, no pun intended, but a lot of times when someone moves to the roads, that's kind of where they stay. They may come back for a 10K or a cheeky 5K every now and then, but you really don't see people coming back and jumping into a steeplechase.
Well, it's interesting because I think that strength endurance really translates well. Some of our best steeplechasers we see, you know, being the 10K cross-country champions. So there is something to be said for the strength of the roads translating over into the steeplechase, and you're clearly seeing that on display here. I mean, this is a woman in Narvaez Ramirez out of Mexico, whose PB is from over a decade ago. And yet I saw an interview with her where she said, I feel stronger than ever. I feel like I'm ready to attack the barriers again. I'm ready for the circuit. I like the track. And that's exactly what you're seeing play out here. She is running fearlessly right now, all in a class of her own. And we should mention that this PONCE Law Women's 3,000-meter steeplechase last year was won by Carmen Graves in 9:42.26, a very stellar time. The meet record is held by Nicole Bush all the way back in 2014, so over 10 years ago. That is 9:34.76. So can you imagine at a time where, again, this meet was, or this event, I should say, was in its infancy, athletes were running really well, and you're seeing the legacy of that now in the form as she crosses the line at 3:23 of Ana Cristina Narvaez Ramirez, absolutely running fearlessly and looking to put her name on this event.
Well, she's the Mexican national record holder, and when you have that kind of first love and you have the lauds that come with it, I think that kind of explains, like you said, why she's coming back. She has that love for it, and it's kind of nice to come back and get into a race like this where you know you may be among the leaders, and of course it's manifested that she is well out in front now. We'll see how it shakes out, but knowing that you're able to get into a race here and kind of get your feet back underneath you, you love to see it. If that's the event that you love, keep on running it.
So again, not a whole lot of competition here on track, but you know that the conditions are strong. The wind has died quite a bit. It looked like we had some storms blowing in. They've blown past. Folks are in the stands. The music's hot. This is part of the Music City Track Carnival just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, and she's looking incredibly strong over these barriers. It really is a time trial at this point. You see that split screen with our two other competitors working hard behind her. That is Lindsay Morse, running in second at the moment, and Morse has also a stellar personal best of 10:17.94. That's from back in 2023. She's an Illinois State grad, and she is in good company with Natisha Fontanes out of Puerto Rico. So those two working hard, but this is not the first time, Trevor, that we've seen this tonight, where athletes go out hard from the beginning. They know that they have lots of time between now and, let's say, their national championships. Worlds certainly coming up at the mid-September, but this is really the time to take chances, take risks, see what you can do, test yourself, and if you fail, you have time to recover from it.
Narvaez Ramirez is 33 years old now, still at it. We said the national record. She's got so much experience at the championship level as well. NACAC medalist and the CAC Games champion as well back in 2018. 4 times national champion. So this is really, like we said, kind of her first love. And any day you can lace them up and get out on the track is a good day.
Well, and on a personal note, I got to tell you that I actually was a competitor in those NACAC championships in 2018 because they were held in my hometown of Toronto. So I remember watching this woman race there and cheering on, of course, all of the competitors in that event. So she is a fierce competitor. She's a 4-time Mexican national champion, as you mentioned, 3 of those in the steeplechase, but 1 of them in the 1500 meter. So you know she has wheels as well. So you got to think, when you combine a 1500 meter runner with a marathoner, as she's now moved up to, the steeplechase is just a perfect meeting spot in terms of that strength and speed, and then the mental components that sort of embody both of those distances. That's on full display now. You see her chopping her stride a little bit. I think she's just slowing down with every sort of barrier that she comes to, but she's established such a large gap over the rest of the field that surely, again, barring disaster, the win is within her reach.
We talked about the men's side and really the surge of Americans that mixed it up. And on the women's side of it, what you reminded me of, really Jenny Behringer kind of got things going. Jenny Simpson, we think of her as a 1500 runner now, of course, but she started off as a steeplechaser. And I remember it always stuck with me. I read an article in Track and Field News where she said, everybody thinks it's 3,000 meters, sure, and, you think of 5,000 runners, but kind of like you said, she actually said, I think the training is more like a 1,500, just because of that strength and some different things that she put in there. And I'm going to listen to Jenny Simpson. So that always stuck with me, that someone can come up from a 1,500 meters and attack this if you really have the right technique and the right mindset.
Absolutely, and I think that mindset is such a big part of that. And just for the record, I'm old enough to remember when she was Jenny Behringer, so I clocked that. I clocked that reference, and of course she was Behringer when she was a 1,500 meter runner, Simpson as a steeplechaser. But this is all Narvaez Ramirez. She's getting good feedback from the infield. She's trying to keep that stride strong. And again, that mindset has to be, as you mentioned, so strong. Look, our second place finisher isn't even within picture. Now we see her entering, and no disrespect to Lindsay Morris, who's working really hard in second place, but this is such a difficult spot to be. She's going to come around over that water barrier for the penultimate time. She'll have, I believe, 500 meters to go as she crosses that water barrier. She was 7:31 on the clock with 2 laps to go, and she is just having to keep really tough, really strong. She's been clocking about 85-second laps over the last couple of laps here. You can see the pain starting to show on her face just a little bit for the first time. But overall, the focus has been there. And she, I believe, is going to come into her bell lap here, Trevor, with a huge lead over the rest of the field.
And give her credit, still pep in that step. Sometimes it can be hard to tell on the flat how much somebody has left in the final lap or two, but you have to continue to stay bouncy when you're attacking these hurdles, and she's doing just that and staying really compact. The thing that can catch you up, and this is true in the hurdles or in the steeplechase as well, is just getting a little tired or a little lazy with either your lead leg or your trail leg, and all it takes is catching a toe on the way down, falling asleep for a split second over the barrier and catching that, and down you go because you don't have much left to catch yourself. So you really have to stay. That's what I mean when I say the mental side. You have to stay locked in. You cannot fall asleep because these barriers are unforgiving, and they're an external factor that makes it really, really hard. Even when you have a big lead like this, as she comes into the final barrier, you have to pay attention and keep pushing hard.
As perilous as that can be over a hurdle, it's all the more perilous over a 2x4. But it's going to be our early leader, Nevaez Ramirez, who's going to gun for a home. Look, she's going to be awfully close to her season's best. She's outside her personal best of 9:48, but 10:21, her season's best, and she is going to be heartbreakingly just outside of that mark. But what a performance, completely solo for the standout four-time Mexican national champion. 10:22.43, an unbelievable finish from gun to tape. Took control of this race and comes away with, again, a time just about a second and a half outside of her best. It's going to be a sub-11 clocking for our second place finisher here in the form of Lindsay Morse. 10:48.72 unofficially for her. And then look at this fantastic close, moving into lane 2, swinging wide, giving herself every opportunity to clear that barrier safely. This is going to be Natisha Barberena of Puerto Rico crossing the line unofficially. 11:13.4. So again, you see there some debrief with coach and some congratulations with the fellow competitors, but a fantastic set of results across the board in what was another small but mighty field, Trevor.
Well, the time matters, but the win absolutely matters. And so when you're coming back to an event like this, as you said, she has raced it this season, but didn't contest anything on the track last year, and just kind of staying sharp. So you have to look at this and say, hey, I want to keep my technique. I want to continue to kind of challenge myself in this way, and I just think it's only going to help whatever she elects to run later in the season, whether it's on the roads or on the track. But getting the win is always a good day. Coach there trotting next to her, giving her final words of exhortation as she cruises on home, takes the victory, and picks up a time, as you said, just outside her season's best, but another good one in her season for Narvaez Ramirez.